All right, e-commerce. This is one of the first things that people ask about. And it is actually important in the past of Orchard because as you may or may not know, the first prototypes that we made of Orchard at Microsoft were actually an e-commerce platform. So that's how it started. And a few people in the team were convinced that we needed to do a CMS and not just an e-commerce platform. I was one of those guys. And a little later, at the beginning of Orchard, the design was kind of imposed from the management, from our management. And they wanted to have e-commerce very, very, very badly. And I'm sure you've heard something like this. Come on, e-commerce is just a shopping cart, checkout, just use PayPal, and you're done. How hard can this be, really? Yeah. All right, get going, get going. I want this in a week. Well, sure, CMS should help a little. I mean, it has content items that we can customize to look like products. We have descriptions, titles, all that is already taken care of. We have reviews, we can reuse comments, votes. You can use photo galleries to do product images. All the rest of the site, the static pages, all of that is taken care of. We have search that we can reuse. We can use related items that we already have in the CMS. So yeah, well, it kind of makes sense. We can gain some time here, but really there is no such thing as simple commerce, really. Well, you may have, that guy who sells his songs on his WordPress blog, and sure, he just added some PayPal button, and it kind of works. But that's not what we're talking about when we talk about e-commerce. We're talking about much more complex cases. And what's more important, there are no two e-commerce sites that look alike, and they all have different constraints and different problems to solve. So sure, you have the cart. The cart is actually very simple, and it should take you about 2 hours to make, sure. And there's a great series from Sipke, actually, that shows how to do that, and a lot of other things. You have checkout, but checkout is not as simple as putting a PayPal button. How do you do refunds, for example? How do you manage your orders? Taxes is hugely complicated. Well, it depends if you're just selling in the US. Wait, no, even if you're just selling in the US, it's already super complex. I mean, okay, my business is in Washington State. When I sell to someone in California, are they paying taxes? Yes, no, I don't know, do I need to consult my lawyer? Yeah, you need to consult your lawyer, and he won't know. Or your accountant, and he will know even less. Trust me, I've been there. And if you want to ship overseas, if you want to ship internationally, it becomes, you don't want to touch that. So you need something that works, you need somebody who has already solved that problem to solve it again for you. Which is why integrated platforms are great. Shipping is ridiculously complicated, I show that. And it never looks the same from one customer to the other, or depending where you ship, it's a mess. Order processing is not simple. Inventory management, I'll show some of that too. There are some fun exercises to do, especially if you start selling stuff like bundles, where you have more than one product that makes some kind of meta product. I'll show that as well. It's a lot of fun, especially to program. Reviews related products, faceted search, and so on and so on and so on. There are so many features that you need if you want a full e-commerce platform, such as, I don't know, UberCart or ZenCommerce. Those platforms, if you've looked at them, are really hugely complicated. And there is that problem too. Payment gateways are all crap. If you've ever had to implement the code that interacts with those guys, it's horrible. And why is it horrible? Because I don't know. I mean, okay, so the APIs, what you see on the right is a very, very, very microscopic part of the API for authorized.net. What you see on the left is a microscopic part of the API for Google Checkout. All the possible corner cases are being handled. This is why those APIs are so complicated. So there is actually a business opportunity here. Do you know Square?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Square has done for physical payment, in-location payment, they have done what needs to be done for online payment. Somebody needs to solve that problem, please. What I want is to give those guys, those gateways, a shopping cart. And I want them to take care of the rest. I want them to handle shipping. I want them to handle taxes. I want them to handle all that crap so that I can just make this simple. Business opportunity here, really, really, really. I want someone to do that. Square is doing really, really well. Somebody needs to do the same. Google Checkout is the one that comes closest. Problem is, it's not well documented at all. As I discovered, I thought that it would do the trick for shipping, for example, and after hours and hours of searching online in the documentation, I found nothing. I didn't find why my shipping wasn't working internationally. It looked like it was working. It looked like it was, but actually our customers were calling us and saying, yeah, do you ship internationally? Yeah, sure, try it. And no, it doesn't work. So it looks like it works, but it doesn't. And then you discover some obscure blog post that explains to you why it doesn't, and you need to implement all of that for Google, and then hand them the thing ready, you know, all that stuff over there. And it's even worse if you go to fully integrated solutions such as Amazon. This is making me mad. What you see here on the right of the screen is one tab in the Amazon e-commerce platform, and that tab is called Vital Information. This is everything that's vital. You know what's in there? There's a property in there that is called throw distance. I'm not kidding you. And there are two of them. Minimum throw distance and maximum throw distance. So I'm selling screens on Amazon. So I guess that I have to know how far I can throw that screen. So we set up some. I went to my backyard and threw them, and I don't know, I have no clue what to put in there. And you have 6 of them, all like that. Okay, well, how do we solve this mess? We have a few modules available in the gallery. The first one was an e-commerce sample that was created by Microsoft DPE. It is a sample. It might get you started, it might give you a starting point, but it's not being maintained anymore, it's not worth looking at, really. This could qualify as, you know, the really, really super simple e-commerce solution. If you have a blog and you want to, you know, point people to existing products on Amazon and make a few cents on the side, because you won't make more than a few cents. Believe me, I tried. There is an Amazon checkout module, and this is an interesting case because it is supposed to make your life easier interacting with that horrible mess that I showed earlier. That module has also been developed by Microsoft DPE. It's decent, really. The problem is that it's not being maintained anymore, and it needs an owner. So if one of you wants to take that, fork it, and own it, please do so. You can. Magilia is, that's a great one too. This one, those guys, I've been working with those guys closely when we started our trial. This module has been available forever. And it's an interesting solution because it's a hybrid solution. So they had an e-commerce platform that was working, that is mature and a good e-commerce platform, and they integrated it into our chart. So products in there are not content items, so it's not fully our chart. There is an additional server that you need to install that is going to take care of the e-commerce part, but it's integrating those products into an R chart site. So that's an interesting one to check out, and those guys are maintaining that module, and you can even hire them. And then there is this little module that I built based on Sipke's code. So I started from the code that he wrote for his series of articles that you may have read. If you haven't, you should read it. It's really good. And so here was the thing. We had, I was launching that business. We are selling electronic products, kits, components, etc. And we needed, I wanted to do an orchard site, you know. And none of the commerce solutions that existed were satisfying to me, so I built my own. And I built it in such a way that it would address my requirements, which I think is the right way to begin. You address your own requirements, what you really need, and you get something that works decently for the specific problem that you need to solve. That's what you do if you don't have 2 years to spend on developing an e-commerce platform, because it takes 2 years to develop a full e-commerce platform. And I hope we'll get there. I hope that in a year and a half, we'll have one. For the moment, it's just addressing my specific needs. But it's open source. You can fork it. You can add your own stuff, and you can contribute back. So let's continue this and take it to the next level, and I will demo that. Okay, so this is the live site. We launched a new product today, by the way. Piotr, if you want to make an order, where is he? No, Piotr is one of our good customers, actually. Okay, so we have products, and on the homepage there is something interesting, which is that we don't just have products; we also have news. I have too many products. Too many recent products here, but here, yeah, here you have some news here. So products and news are kind of together on the home page. And this is one of the places where a CMS is helping, because I'll show how this works. So we have products. You can look at the product details here. You have an image gallery. Oops, what? I don't know what happened here. Oh, the script wasn't loaded or something because of the crappy bandwidth we have here. Yeah, so we have image galleries with zooming and everything that you would expect. We have rich product descriptions. We have related products. We have comments, and we have labels. Those labels here. This is another opportunity to reuse what the CMS is offering. This is taxonomies, actually, what you see here. Each of those labels that you have here are taxonomy terms. And we have comments on the products. So maybe I'll add that guy to the cart, and it's appearing on the right here. I can modify quantities. I can order more products, and I can view my full cart here, and I have a big buy with Google. There is another mic. I'm sorry about the Larsen. Okay, I don't know Sebastian's password, otherwise I could actually buy stuff with his money.
You don't want to announce.
Okay, cool, I memorized it now. Oh, but it doesn't know where you are. Well, it would show tax and shipping here if it knew Sebastian's address. Okay, so I switch to the back office here, and I'll show you what the content types are in here. So we have a product content type. And that product content type has a few parts that you will recognize, common, body, and a little thing that I like is being able to change the flavor of the body. I tend to use Markdown. I'm managing that side, so Markdown tends to be a little more technical, but it gives you, it makes it a lot easier to manage your contents in a structured, predictable way, which is why I really like it. We have the product part that is going to provide everything we need for shipping and prices and stuff. We have auto route, of course, with a pretty standard configuration, and we have Zen Gallery. So Zen Gallery is it's a minimalist image gallery that I built, and I actually built it for this site. And it works with media management, the built-in media management in Orchard, and it's made to be non-intrusive, very easy to skin, and reusing a lot of the stuff that already exists. And it works a little bit like auto route, where you can specify your own convention for where to find the images for a specific product. So here we're using the SKU of the product inside of a product subdirectory under media. So for example, if I go to my media here and I look at the product folder, I have one folder per product. So if I want to see, for example, the images for the button module, here they are. And because managing images is something you tend to do a lot, when you look at the part in the content item editor, sorry. Yeah. You can see the images that you already have. You can see the image path, and you can also you also have a direct link to the folder for this product. So it makes it very easy to switch back and forth. And the advantage of using a simple gallery like that is that I can also FTP my images for a product in advance. And I mean, I've been doing that for months, and I found that it's really super convenient. There is just one thing that is a little clunky, I think, which is that the images are being shown in alphabetical order, so I tend to call them 0 underscore something. It works. Yeah, so here, this is the product part, and the product part is showing inventory, it's showing price, it's showing SKU, and it's also showing information for out of stock, what happens when a product is out of stock. So I'm not going to be showing this actually in action because I'm on the production side for reasons that I won't elaborate on, which are that I didn't have time to set this up on Sebastian's machine. But here the mechanism is that you can allow a product to still be ordered even if it's out of stock, and you would put a message here saying this will be available on September 14th, for example. And this message will appear on the front end if the inventory here is 0. And you can allow or not allow orders on an item that is out of stock. So I should not save that because we're trying to sell those products. And the way it is going to be used for shipping. And I'll show the details of shipping. It's crazy how complicated it is, even in simple cases. So in my products here, the other thing that I have, let me filter on bundles, because bundles are an interesting case. So a bundle is a product made out of other products. So a kit is a good example. We sell our products as bundles so that you can buy several of them at the same time. And this is how you manage them here. You can specify quantities for each product in this bundle. So this will have to be refactored when we have too many products, which is going to be soon. But we are implementing things as we need them instead of trying to imagine the universal e-commerce platform that will work for everything. And it's okay to refactor things. All that is, it's orchard. You can replace things very easily. And I talked about inventory, but when you sell products like that, and we're selling those pretty much from our garage, and when we sell something, we need to update the inventory. And what I did is that I included a remove button here, so that on the list of products I can manage my inventory directly. So when I sell something, I click that button and that's done. But with bundles, it's interesting because, again, that's a perfect illustration of the fact that commerce can get very messy very quick. If I have a bundle with 4 standoffs, for example, and I sell one of those bundles, I need to decrease the inventory of those standoffs that enter into the composition of that bundle. And vice versa, when I sell standoffs, it can affect the quantities that are available for the bundle. And the quantities available for the bundles are the lowest quantities that I have in the products that are composing this. So the logic is, it's business logic, you need to implement it. So it's complicated. Yeah, and the last thing I want to show before I leave the stage to Brett is shipping methods. So, shipping is complicated and it's going to be different in many cases. So I built everything in this module is orchardy, it's extensible, replaceable, etc. So shipping methods, for example, are implemented as a completely extensible system. And here I have 2. Those 2 buttons are being contributed by 2 different features in the module. One is doing weight-based shipping, which means that if you have something very heavy, it's going to cost you more to ship. And you need to specify how you calculate that. So if you wanted to add a new shipping method, you would specify minimum weight, maximum weight, shipping company, price, etc. And you would have to specify where that shipping method is available. And we have another shipping method which is based on the size, and we use small, medium, large sizes. There are some items that don't fit in the boxes that we use. We use standard boxes because it streamlines our process. We just no matter what you order, we just throw that into a standard box. It just goes fast. But some items just don't fit in the box, so we mark them as large. And when there is just one of those large items, it changes the box that we have to use, and it changes the price of the shipping. So the way this is implemented is that I have a ground shipping method that is priority 0, and that works in all US states. And that's all it specifies. It doesn't specify a size. And then I have ground with large item, and that one is saying, okay, well, if there is anything that is large, apply this method. And it has priority 1, so it will remove the other one. And then I repeat that for international. And international is the same, except that the method is valid for the whole world, except for the US. And this ensures that no matter what you order, when you go to Google Checkout, you have only one choice in shipping. That's because we only use USPS for shipping, but if you had FedEx, UPS, and so on, you would just add them in here. And it's extensible, so you can build your own. And I'll just show very briefly how the code looks like. Yeah, that's an interesting one, for example. Let me put this out of the way. So these are some of the test cases that we have for shipping. So we build a shopping cart. We build the set of shipping methods that are available, and then we test the results. So writing those tests took a lot of time. I've developed this test-driven way because it was very important to get that right, and it's super tricky. So I used those tests as a specification of sorts that I validated with my partner. And the implementation, so I will show services. iShipping method, for example. An iShipping method is something that has a compute price method, and it's taking the cart, so the quantities, and the list of shipping methods, and it can decide. So let's look at the implementation of one of those guys so that you can see how crazy it is. Oh, I'm lost. I don't have my resharper here. Weight-based shipping method, for example. Oh, it's the provider that I opened, not the actual shipping method. Okay. iShipping method provider. I want an iShipping method. Can't I have the implementers of an interface in Visual Studio? Well, we'll look at references. We'll probably find one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and shipping methods are content items so that you can export them. Because this was built at the time where this was the only thing you could export. But yeah, compute price. Yeah, that's the code that I'm running to compute the price of a cart. So yeah.
So you need to look at it using the APIs that UPS gives you and FedEx gives you.
Oh, you could do that. Yeah, that's a very good point. So most of the shipping providers are actually giving you APIs that will compute a price based on parameters like that, like weight and size and so on. Yeah, you could absolutely implement one of those things using that API. Absolutely, yeah. We chose not to because it's too complicated for what we are doing. Because we're always shipping in the same kinds of boxes, and we use flat rates, which costs us a little more, but is also less expensive for us because it streamlines the process, and process is as important as a few cents sometimes.
It makes it less complicated too, even less complicated.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how complicated it is to implement those interfaces. All right, well, that's it for my demo. I'll hand the stage to Brett here from Onestop. One last thing, I don't have tax calculation in the module right now, and the reason for that is that currently I'm letting Google Checkout handle that, but it would be interesting to implement it.
You just did you consider integrating any of the non-commerce models?
Did we consider integrating Knob Commerce? So we've talked with them a few months ago, and there was some, a few crazy ideas were thrown around, such as, refactoring Knob Commerce into an orchard module and stuff like that. It didn't happen, but it's sure if somebody wants to go that route, it would be an interesting approach because they have it's one of those complete e-commerce solutions that are done today, so it would be interesting, yes. But what I'm doing here is different. I'm trying to build something completely orchard from the ground up.
So Onestop, the company is about 9 years old. It was started here in Los Angeles in 2003, and we started building a shopping cart very similar to the way that Bertrand did. We had a set of requirements. We weren't sure where it was going to go, and 9 years later, we've evolved those set of requirements as our clients have come to us and said, we want this, we want that, and we've built out this very substantial e-commerce platform. But it was all based on 2003 technology, which back then was .NET web forms. So what we found is that it wasn't, all software has a life cycle, and the life cycle was way past its prime, and we realized that we need to do better and start over. So we looked at all of the CMS systems out there as a starting point, and we looked heavily at WordPress. We loved that WordPress had a lot of plugins. We loved that it was open source. We didn't love that it was PHP. If they had WordPress for .NET, we would have done it. There is a port, but it's terrible. We looked at Umbraco. We looked at Sitecore. We looked at .NET CMS. We looked at all of them. We did a very thorough study, and we decided that we love the way Orchard was architected, and we decided, you know, this is really the future. It's MVC. We like it. So we started building an e-commerce platform on Orchard, and I'm going to talk about how it works alongside our existing platform. So our goals, and this is from our customers and our own internal executives and how we run the company, onboarding customers faster. Today, it takes us too long to bring a new client online. We've got a few one-stop engineers here, and they all know they all have to struggle with that web forms interface to get clients onboarded. Clients want everything. They want things to work just the way they want it, and they want you to do it for them, and they don't care how you do it. And that means complexity. And so getting our clients onboarded takes us too long, and we spend too much money on it. So one of our goals is to get onboard clients faster, and we're working towards that. The other thing is they want to be able to help themselves. They need a portal. They want to be able to change the homepage themselves. They want to be able to add a menu item themselves. 9 years ago, they didn't have staff. Our clients didn't have staff in their company that knew anything. They just said, one step, you do everything. Today, we have clients that have 2, 3, 4, 10 people on a team that manages e-commerce. They're looking at it every day. And today, they can't make changes. They have to go through Onestop. So we want to provide them with a dashboard that they can go in and change things themselves. And that's why we thought we have to have this CMS-centric. Our code base is 9 years old, so we wanted something new, start over. Maybe 9 years from now it will be unwieldy. We don't know, but we're trying to make it with proper design patterns and build a code base that other people can learn from quickly and integrate with. Today's desktop browser is a lot different than it was 9 years ago. Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer all have revisions that change constantly, and we need to build a flexible front-end experience to work on all the desktop browsers, mobile devices, tablets, all of that better. And today, with our Today technology, we can't do it. It's very difficult to have a code base that works on all these different platforms. We are unique in that we have this. We have our own cloud. We don't use Amazon or Azure. We have our own cloud. We call it the One-Stop Cloud, and we have a data center in Burbank, and we have a data center in Sterling, Virginia, and there are multi-node Windows 2008 servers, and they all talk to each other. We have a SQL database that replicates bidirectionally across the country, so that has to always be up. The design requirements for our fault tolerance are that a bomb could go off in one of our data centers and the whole thing can go down and we won't miss a beat. And it does work that way. We've tested it. We haven't set off a bomb, but we've tested a simulated bomb, and it does work. So that is a requirement of our clients to be able to sustain a complete data center outage. So we run into a lot of issues with having these multi-nodes in our platform, but we've managed to work through them. So we can't take hundreds of thousands of lines of code and 9 years of engineering and just decide, okay, we're going to rewrite this with a small team in 6 months or 12 months. It's just not possible. So we took what we call a two-level hybrid approach. One is connecting to our platforms, our existing platform via API. So things like order management, inventory management, shipping, pick, pack, and ship, which is something Onestop does. We have a warehouse. Those things we cannot rewrite fast enough. So what we build is an API into it. And right now, in our first rev of this new platform, we're really focusing on the front end. So what the users see. But there's so much more to it. Our whole infrastructure has a lot of code behind it as well. Managing products, managing catalogs, managing tax, managing data feeds from all our clients. We have clients that send us flat files. We export data back to them. We have different shipping requirements per client. Some clients will ship us products without labels. We have to have a system to manage that. All of that code returns. What if you get a return and the box is empty? We have screens for that. We have all those screens, all that back-end infrastructure that we've written over the last 9 years that we can't replace. So we put an API in front of it. And then the other thing is rewriting all the pages that our sites have. For example, we've got one of our clients has a feature called My Rewards, and you can send your friend a link, your friend signs up, your friend places an order, he gets a $10 discount, you get a $10 discount. It's used by 2% of the users, but it still needs to be there, it needs to be in the front end. And we don't want to rewrite all those pages, we don't have time. So we built a way to keep those existing pages in .NET forms and have a seamless experience for the user when they traverse through the Orchard pages and the .NET Forms pages. And I'll show a little bit about that coming up here. So here's an architectural diagram of what I'm saying. We've got the Orchard database, right, with the Orchard tables. We've got the Onestop database, which is our commerce storage. We've got an API on top of it. We built an Orchard module we call onestop.commerce that connects to our One-Stop Services API, which connects to the database. And the One-Stop Commerce module also gets some of its settings and so forth from the Orchard database. The front end is Orchard, so third-party modules written by the community, written by some people we've hired. Those are all standard Orchard. And then we've got IS with a virtual directory where the web forms are hosted. All the assemblies, all the code that's been written over the last 9 years is hosted in a virtual directory. So when you go to www.spyoptic.com/spio, that's actually the web forms app. And with clever rewrite rules, we get around that. So here's just the settings screen from the One-Stop Commerce module, where we've got 2 different APIs we can connect to. An analytics module at the bottom, a screen at the bottom there where we can put in an analytics string. And here's our IS config. So we have a website we like to call Acme, which is a non-existing client. It's just a sample. But that's where, has anyone here used Orchard multi-tenant for your sites? We like it a lot because for deployment, it makes it a lot easier for us. We have 35 clients today. A couple years from now, we'll probably have 100, 200. Having the multi-tenant really does help. So our primary tenant is Acme, and then we have sites underneath it using multi-tenant. So this is just a virtual directory that points to our classic web forms app, uses the same application pool as the parent, and it enables us to have our web pages hosted by the same site. Why hybrid? Here's the SpyOptic checkout screen, and it's very complicated. It's got thousands and thousands of lines of JavaScript, thousands and thousands of lines of C#, a lot of CSS, a lot of Ajax in it, a lot of nuances to it that would take weeks and weeks and weeks of an engineer's time to port over to MVC. It's just not ready yet. So we hybrid where when you go to /checkout, you're actually going to a web forms version, which is this. So here's a screenshot of our rewrite rules. So when you go to /checkout, it actually goes to that checkout ASPX file. And that checkout ASPX file loads the header, footer, the theme in a different way. So I'll show that. So I'm gonna bring up one of our sites. This was actually our first site we launched in October of last year, SpyOptic. This is our slideshow module. So almost every branding site today has a slideshow on their homepage. Probably every site you visit you see has one. Well, in the old Onestop platform, if you want to change these slides, you've got to go through one-stop engineering. You've got to create a trouble ticket. It has to get looked at by an engineer. An engineer has to edit an ASCX file. An engineer has to check it in. A release engineer has to push it to the QA environment. QA has to test it. It has to go to the staging environment, and then it gets pushed to production. It's like a 15-step process that at a minimum, even at full speed, that takes 2 to 4 hours. So today, you go into your Orchard dashboard, you find the slide you want to edit, and you edit it, and you hit save. So that's an example of the kind of thing we have to do to keep up with today's technology, is to have a portal. So here's a shopping page. So this is the Onestop Classic Products List page, but you as a user don't realize this isn't actually an Orchard page. This is a web forms page. And we do that by, we extended the navigation. Okay, so we extended the navigation module where we have /header and /footer, where it's a bare bones rendering of whatever you have in Orchard. So it starts with this div tag, and it has the navigation. So if you should change it, this page will get it. So this page actually loads /header to load all this content, and /footer as well. So that way, the only part that is web forms is this middle part here. It's this part. And there's a lot of code behind this part that we didn't want to have to rewrite. So all of this is web forms, and then the header and footer are Orchard. And we wrote a little bit of code inside the web forms to do a server-side call to /header and /footer and just load it in a placeholder variable. And that way we were able to seamlessly kind of transition between Orchard pages such as this. This page is done in Orchard, and this and here's web forms, and it's a seamless experience. And that way we've managed to not have to rewrite everything at once. So our next site that we're launching, johnvarvatos.com, I'll bring it up here. We're relaunching this site. This is one of our marquee high-profile clients that we're very, we give a lot of attention to at Onestop. We have other sites that kind of don't do the numbers that, like any company, you kind of give attention to your bigger clients, and that's just the way it works. True Religion Brand Jeans is one of our bigger clients. Maybe you've heard of them. We used to do Lululemon.com, which is a huge yoga sporting apparel line. John Varvatos is a very up-and-coming men's clothing line. So they have a lot of unique needs, and we are porting this site to Orchard. And in this version of the port, we're taking the hybrid a little bit further, and our goal is to have all our pages on Orchard and 0 pages on web forms. So for this iteration, the thumbnail and detail pages, these, see, products list ASPX, these will be all in Orchard. And only when you get to checkout will you end up web forms. We kind of looked at our timeline and what we can get done in time, and we just decided we can't get done checkout and some other features by rebuilding them in Orchard via API. So we will use the web forms version and just live with it for a while. But the lesson here is that you can do a phased approach. You can take a website that you have in an older technology, front end it with Orchard, and there's different ways you can keep some of the functionality in your old platform and just have Orchard kind of talk to it through URL rewrites, virtual directories, and APIs. There's definitely a way to do it. So when you pitch other people at your company, hey, we like Orchard, we want to use it. Think about different ways you can do that. That's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions about Onestop or what else we've done? We are very excited to release 5 modules to the community. We put a lot of time and effort into them, and we think that it's a good start, and in the next year we'll push more and more modules out and open source them. And Bertrand's been a great help. He was there at our initial pitch meeting in August of last year. He sat with us, and we had like 20 people in the room, and I kind of threw down the gauntlet saying, this is what we need to do. We can't just limp along on our old platform anymore. We have to put a stake in the ground with Orchard, and it's been a big investment of our company, millions of dollars. So it was really great to have Bertrand, there as a representative of Microsoft, helping us and being an advocate for the community. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. We're here because of the community, the fact that it is open source and it is extremely well architected. I mean, I've seen all sorts of software platforms in my career, and it's been amazing just to look at the source code of Orchard and MVC and the dependency injection and the patterns it's all followed, and it's just, I love raving about it. Most people I talk to, it's kind of, over their head. They don't get, they're not like you. They're not this audience. They're other people in my company who've never looked at code. So it's kind of hard to describe how good it is, but they see my enthusiasm when I talk about it. So hopefully they trust me and believe in it. But trust only goes so far. You've got to deliver things on time. So we're working very hard to try and meet deadlines that some of them are immovable. It's now mid-September, and what time of year is that coming up? The holidays, and all of our clients want everything because people start shopping online like crazy November and December. Those are our biggest months. So this is my busiest time of year. December is actually easy for me. The sites are done. There's not much you can do at that point. But September, October are, for me, the busiest times of my life for the last 10 years now. And this one's unique too with John Varvatos launching. So we will definitely, when John Varvatos launches, you'll hear us bragging about it on Twitter and other channels. So you'll see it. You'll know. Maybe you could retweet us and give us props. Hopefully we'll deserve it. But it's a very beautiful design that they hired an agency in the UK to design, and we're working with them on getting it, making it happen. And then we'll move on to the next client, on and on and on, always busy. So thanks Onestop team also, if you guys could raise your hands. A lot of us here, they are all looking forward to getting on board with the new platform. Some of them have gotten to use it a little bit, and hopefully they like it. And a year from now, at the next Orchard conference, I imagine more than half our clients will be on it, and everyone will be building custom modules, and we'll be onboarding clients faster, and we'll be hitting our goals that we've tried to achieve.
Great, Brian. Thank you very much. Do you have a quick question?
Just a quick one. I want to get a data point for you since you're in the business pretty big. How is it for engineers out there like us in the job market, and how is business picking up for you with regards to e-commerce sites?
Great question. The job market, it was actually a little bit scary the first few months because we really had trouble finding data engineers, and we kind of knew that was going to be a challenge. So we moved our tech offices. Some people we have an office in Santa Monica now, right down the street from here. It's a beautiful office. It's right in the promenade, and the thought was Google's up here. Yahoo is up here. There's a lot of ex-MySpace people up here. Demand Media, Demand Media was .NET. So there's a lot of people that in this part of the Los Angeles there is a good growing .NET community. So in the last couple months, we've actually seen some really good candidates, and we have some new people coming on, and we've seen some very good ones over the last couple months. I stumbled across the Los Angeles .NET users group. Philip is here from there, and sorry, I forgot your name. Mark as well, from the .NET users group. So that was great to meet them, and they're using Orchard, and I was so happy to see that. And Bertrand was here a couple weeks ago visiting with us, and we had a hackathon over there and went through some Orchard code with those guys.
Something that you should mention is that when the project was started, we actually reached out to the community together to find people who are already doing our chart and hire them on projects. And now how many?
We've got like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
And Elon's done a great job. You guys all know Elon because you've all seen him. He's out there, kind of as the one-step advocate, trying to, push the product, finding people, and the Sipka and Piotr and Zoltan have all been a big help. Nicholas Main, who's not here, they've all been a big help getting us writing code and collaborating with us. And we have daily stand-up meetings. We use Link, the same technology that Sebastian uses for the Wednesday meetings. So every day we're kind of just all checking each other. Bertrand built a really quick and easy code review tool that connects to Bitbucket. So we can bring up a page and look at everyone's check-ins, and we can mark them as code reviewed. Just a little utility that we saw a need for, and Bertrand cranked out something. So yeah, it's been great. It's been great seeing the Orchard community out there. It's my first foray into open source. It's Onestop's first foray into open source. We had kept everything closed. Oh no, that's our intellectual property. Nobody can see that. But now we're kind of opening ourselves up more. It feels good to be able to give things back.